Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Barner here, Overtime Athletes. For today's video, what I want to go over is my favorite 7 bench press variations, right? And I'm actually going to do this in order throughout an entire off season. So I'm going to introduce them, how I mix them up. Now, for today specifically, or for this video specifically, I'm going to go over strictly barbell bench press. Obviously, we mix in a lot of other horizontal pushing, whether that be utilizing body weight, dumbbells, sleds, other things. But for today specifically, I'm gonna go through the 7 favorite variations when it comes to the actual barbell bench press. First one, kicking off, we're gonna go into our general prep phase. So when athletes come in during the summer or in their off season, what do I usually typically start off with? We'll go with a regular bench press. I'm not gonna count this as one of the 7, but from a prep standpoint, it's usually just full range of motion, being able to perform your standard regular bench press. The other side to that is I might cheat the athlete in and do a little bit more close grip. Now, the way that I teach close grip isn't necessarily like close. It's essentially shoulder width apart, right? I don't want them outside shoulder. I don't want them inside shoulder. I just want them, if they were to hold their fist straight up, shoulder width apart. Now, moving to another variation that I utilize during the prep phase is going to be the Larsson Press. Now, the reason why I love the Larsson Press, and essentially what it is where the athlete is not utilizing leg drive while pushing. So they're gonna essentially place their feet right on the bench here. They're gonna unrack it. Everything's the same as they would do a regular bench press. Come down, come up, come down, come up. But the reason why I love this during the prep phase is because, again, we're eliminating that leg drive. So they're not really using and throwing their hips into it, arching their back. It's more of a pure power, pure strength type movement for that horizontal press. So it's really just being able to focus on, again, not utilizing the lower body into their press, because bench press, contrary to what a lot of people think, is a total body movement, right? But it just shows itself in producing horizontal force. So that's the prep phase. Those are the 2 that I typically start off with. Moving over to the more isometric phase, which is usually the next block that we perform inside our training. Usually, typically what I do is a overcoming isometric. Now, when I introduce isometrics, right, there's 2 different ones. Yielding, where you're basically holding the bar and being able to stop it like an inch off your chest, and then being able to explode it up. But the one that I really like is going to be the overcoming iso. So I actually scoop back, so I'm in the same arm path. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go under the pins, and I'm gonna have my athletes push against an immovable force as hard as they possibly can, all out for a certain allotted time. Now, this progression through that block is going to increase the amount of time. So I might say 5-10 seconds at first, and we might do multiple sets within that rep. So what I mean by that is 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, 10 seconds on, 5 seconds off, 10 seconds on. So I'll mix it up and I'll progress it to be able to get more time under that isometric as we progress through that block. Cool, so the next one after isometrics is usually when we enter the eccentric phase, right? And this is all about force absorption, being able to focus on more of the stretch portion of the stretch shortening cycle. So this is just gonna be a tempo bench press where we focus on eccentric. So I'm gonna lower it, I'm gonna have the athlete lower a certain percentage of their 1 rep max, and I'm gonna have them explode up the bar as fast as they possibly can. So an eccentric or a tempo bench might look like this, coming up, regular bench press, coming down slow, under control, trying to bend that bar, and then being able to explode it back up. So real simple variation, but highly effective for building that overall power and overall absolute strength. So that's really the variation that I love during the eccentric phase. Obviously, again, mixed with dumbbells, mixed with other different exercises that we do to produce horizontal force. All right, the next phase after that, again, moving in progressive order through an off season, is going to be a pin press or a floor press. So pin press, usually what I want is I'm gonna have the athlete set up just like they would. But again, during this phase, it's all about being able to eliminate the stretch shortening cycle, the stretch reflex, coming from a dead stop and producing as much force and power as fast as we possibly can. So pin press, again, will set up, look just like the regular bench press. The pins, usually, typically, I want you to be about an inch. I want still a good, decent range of motion. So I want to make sure that your bar is about an inch off your chest. So come down, come to a dead stop, right? It's about an inch or so right off the chest, and being able to explode that weight as fast as I possibly can concentrically. So come down, relax, explode, down, relax, explode. Now the other variation on the concentric phase is going to be our floor press. The reason why I love the floor press is same principles that we were just talking about, where you're focused on concentric, right? You're coming to a dead stop. You're not using that rebound-like effect at the bottom of the movement, right? But the difference with this is you could get a deeper range of motion with pin press, whereas with floor press, you're working a little bit more of that lockout or that top half of the actual lift. So the athlete will come, sit down on the floor, try not to, you can have your knees bent, but I just don't want your hips to lift up. Some athletes, we tell them to put their legs straight out just so they're not cheating. But from here, I want them to come down. I tell them don't fall down, right? You're gonna hurt your wrists if you do this. That's the only support. What I want you to do is I want you to come, kiss the floor under control, dead stop, explode the bar up. Now I know some people come down under control and come straight back up. What I'm looking is for a dead stop and producing as much force as fast as they possibly can. So coming from here and exploding up as fast as they can. That's the concentric phase of those two variations that I absolutely love for the barbell bench press. All right, so the final phase is kind of peak, or where we put everything all together. Now there's two variations that I love. We're going back to a tempo. We call this the rebound bench press, right? Now there's a more simpler version and there's a very advanced version, right? The simple version is I'm taking the bar and I'm moving it through the whole range of motion as fast as I possibly can. So I'm not just coming down and exploding the weight, I'm actually coming down as fast as I can. I'm pulling that bar down to me and I'm exploding it back up as fast as I can. So this is a traditional rebound. Here, as fast as I can. Big thing is to have intent. Now the more advanced version, which sometimes we'll utilize with our higher level athletes, is where the athlete actually takes their hands off the bar, absorbs that force on the catch, and then redirects it or rebounds it up. So you'll see they're gonna come here, same thing, here. Being able to absorb a massive amount of force and redirect it as fast as they possibly can. Now the last one, similar to the concentric phase, we could do a limited range of motion series. So with this last variation, what I love is doing a board press. Now I don't have a partner here, so I gotta set it up a little bit differently, but there's no excuses if you don't have a training partner. So basically all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a board on my chest. So board's gonna be on my chest. As you can see, it stops at a limited range of motion, and I'm just focusing on being able to bang that board as fast as I possibly can and explode that weight up. So you're here. You could play with different size boards. You can go 1 board, 2 board, 3 board. But again, just like the floor press, it's really focused on being able to work that lockout in the actual bench press with a more limited range of motion. So what you'll see with your athletes is they'll actually be able to use a lot more load, over 100%, and be able to really force on working on that lockout. So there you have it, guys, kind of full progression of how I go through an off season utilizing the barbell bench press, from the most basic standard bench press for volume, maybe adding a little bit of Larsson, to then isometrics, eccentrics, concentric, and then overall peaking athlete to develop that horizontal force. Those are the 7 best ones that I like to utilize with the barbell. Hope that helps. I'll catch you guys next time.